Hey, it's Chris, and today we're gonna be talking about whether or not I think that AirPods Pro are those still the king of truly wireless earbuds. Is that the go-to thing that you should aspire to if you own an Apple device, and maybe even if you don't? I love my AirPods Pros. I have this case with me almost at all times. This is a product that I really, really like. But companies have been sending me some alternatives to the AirPods and /AirPods Pros that are different and unique in their own ways. Not just the style or the design, but also in the features. And I thought today I'm gonna actually take a close look at a couple of the options and see at the end of this video, do I still prefer the AirPod Pros? Especially as someone who's so embedded within the Apple ecosystem, so you know my bias going in. Now I completely understand we don't have earbuds here from every earbud manufacturer that exists. This is a small variety of what's out there to choose from. But even so, I think these are pretty interesting for a couple of reasons. Number one's gonna be the price. These Anker Soundcore in-ear studio performance Liberty 2 Pros represent a more affordable option at $149 in either black or white. And I've got the black here. All right, and then these LG tones here, these are a little bit different because they're $199, still cheaper than the AirPod Pros at $250, but they have this UV nano technology in here, which is like, it's like phone soap, but for your earbuds. All right, well, let's start with our budget option. See what's in the box, see how it sounds, and work our way up from there. All right, so when you open it up, pretty simple packaging. That's interesting. I don't mind it. I kind of like it. It's different than the AirPods case, that's for sure. It does actually have its own unique identity. Wow, I really like the way that slides open. That is very satisfying, very unique. To be honest, it feels a little bit flimsy. I'm almost worried I'm gonna break it when I slide it back. Sliding it out is fine, but when you slide it back, it almost feels a little flimsy. Whoa. Those are big. So they definitely have a different look to them. They aren't trying to be AirPod Pros. You got some ear hooks here to help keep these in your ear. They've got an 8-hour playtime, which is pretty decent. I mean, they look pretty good. They're not bad looking. I don't know if you can see this, but there's a little button on the top of each of these that you can press. And here's the first sound test. Oh, I can get the bass right away. Huh. Sounds good. I think these have much better noise isolation even than my AirPods Pros. Isn't that weird? Now these are actually not noise canceling, but they're very, very noise isolating. But the bass is surprisingly strong. If you're like really into bass and you miss the way that Beats used to sound, then this might be for you. I'm not to say that it's overly bassy. It's a lot of isolation, which makes all the sounds sound better. Because even though it's not noise canceling, it's doing a good job of rejecting everything else that's around me just because of that isolation. Wow. Let me switch back to my AirPod Pros and see what that sounds like on the same track, because that was pretty impressive. Now these already, I can tell you two things. Number one, they're much lighter and smaller, much lighter and smaller. So, wow. I thought that these were a little bit heavier compared to regular AirPods, the non-Pro AirPods. But these compared to the Soundcores that I just had in are just like a feather. Oh, wow. The bass almost disappeared compared to those. Wow. My eyes have been opened a little bit. It's just a little bit less rich with the AirPod Pros. All right, well, let's get these tones out and see what those look like. Whoa, look at that. That's a pretty cool little case in there. Wow. You know, I used to think that everything that wasn't AirPods was just an AirPods ripoff. But what I'm already seeing between these two competitors is that people are producing something that does look different. That's cool. I like the look of this a lot, actually. Now, you have to say the actual earbuds themselves, those do have an AirPod-like look, quality to them. And in that way, I mean, they just kind of feel like a ripoff, to be honest. Because who wants the knockoff? You gotta have your own identity when it comes to a product design. And while it does look good, it looks good in an AirPods look-alike way. This case though, that's its own thing. When this one pops open, you get this glow going on. Can you see that in the camera? That glow is sort of like, it's a little futuristic, but it also reminds me of like a dentist's office or something for some reason. Something dental related. And obviously it's showing you that UV aspect because they want you to visually see when you open it that no, these aren't AirPods. There's something different going on here. But I don't know how many people have died from ear-related bacteria infections because they were using something other than the tones. You know, these haven't existed forever. Is that a real problem that people had and they're out to solve this? Or is it just kind of a gimmick? I don't know. I will say I personally wouldn't buy them because of that UV aspect. But let's see how they sound. Nice and light. Oh, and actually, I think these may have a little bit better noise isolation for me than the AirPod Pros do as well. Isolation, not cancellation, but just the isolation, the fit. These, right off the bat, seem to just fit my ear canals better. Almost better than the other two, actually. The fit is really strong on these, so good job, LG, there. All right, we're going to bring back Minio here. It's okay. It's good. It's, it doesn't blow me away like the Anker did. The Ankers, immediately, I could just tell, like, wow, there's something to these. It's a little meatier, that sound. It hits a little bit harder. Now, this is not an audiophile type of review or unboxing. This is just like a base level consumer, is it enjoyable type of experience. There's a good look at the charger for you. Okay, I'm ready to pronounce judgment. Here's the deal. These are incredible because of their convenience within the Apple ecosystem. They aren't perfect though. A while back, I made a video about some noise cancellation issues that I had. And if you're seriously considering these, that's something that you might want to check out. So, amazingly convenient, yes, more expensive, but at the end of the day, I just talked about this on the podcast, which you can hit the link down below if you want to get subscribed to, that at the end of the day, I just love the noise cancellation so much that I continue to use them because of the convenience of noise cancellation all the time. Now, that was before. I've now had the chance to experience the Tones and the Liberty 2 Pros. And what can I tell you? I mean, these just were more fun to listen to, I think, than either of these. I'm surprising myself here by saying this. The Tones, I don't believe that I could actually wear those. I'm sorry, but the design just feels like a knockoff to me. With the stick hanging down and whatever. If you went with the black pair, that would at least look different, you know? But the design is just ruined for me because it's trying to be something else. And to be honest, the UV sanitation aspect is just not doing it for me. $149, $199. I just don't think I can recommend the Tones enough based on the sound quality. They're just not as fun to listen to as the sound cores. So I'm gonna take these off the table, out of the mix. So that leaves these two. Now this case is bigger than the original AirPods case, and I used to think that that was big. But then look at this. This case is enormous by comparison. You stick that in your pocket, and it's taking up some extra space. Not that much, but enough that it does make a difference. I do award this case some points just for its uniqueness. Like, it's an interesting design, that's for sure. But it still does feel pretty flimsy to me overall. I would be worried if I had this that in several months, if I wasn't careful, I could end up breaking it. This top part here. These, on the other hand, are super durable. I sit here and fidget with this all day long, and I've never had any issues whatsoever. All right, well, let me listen to a podcast and see how that works. I'm just being blunt. I'm being straight up honest here. I think that voices sound better on the AirPod Pros. I do. Maybe that's a gut reaction. If you're listening to podcasts a lot, audiobooks maybe, I think the AirPod Pros would be my choice, for sure. So at the end of the day, I have to come to a decision here. Which one of these am I going to continue to use? And I'm sure everybody that's a subscriber is already guessing. They put their guesses in. If there was a bracket, they are pretty sure who they know is going to win. And I'm going to have to say, you guys are completely and totally right. I probably would stick with the AirPod Pros. In fact, I'm going to. On the other hand, though, if I don't want to spend $250, I want to save $100, would I look at this? Well, yeah, these sound cores are really, really fun to listen to. They sounded really good to my ears. All right, here's my main takeaway here. As somebody who's very immersed in the Apple ecosystem, who has owned every generations of AirPods that there is, and really thoroughly enjoys the AirPods Pros. There is other stuff out there. There's stuff that will surprise you if you're an Apple person and you haven't tried this other stuff by what it can do. And maybe those surprises you won't really care about too much, like the UV aspect of the tones for me. Maybe somebody out there is so excited about that. I have no idea. It's not pushing any buttons for me, but if you just assume that AirPods Pros are always gonna be the better sounding wireless earbud, that's not necessarily the case. So yeah, these things really do slap compared to these. So lesson learned, if you're deep inside the Apple ecosystem and you haven't really tried anything else out there because you're like, no, I'm just gonna go with Apple stuff because it's Apple stuff. Well, there's nothing wrong with that. Number one, don't let anybody make you feel bad. Why not do that? There's no reason. Apple stuff is great, and that's what I do a lot of the time. But on the flip side, there is some other interesting, cool stuff out there that you gotta check out. Be aware of. Never hurts to be more aware. All right, so thanks for watching this video. Let me know which ones you think you would pick up. And of course, I'll link these up down below so you can check them out, investigate further at your leisure. And don't forget, you can check out applehype.com. There's something cool waiting for you there right now, today. And you should connect with me on Twitter and Instagram. I'm at DailyTech, spelled Daily T-E-K-K in both of those places. And I'll catch you in the next episode of the podcast or the next video. Later.